So, a little update on the Hurricane Francine, that passed through Louisiana, which is where I live yesterday. It did not hit Baton Rouge too bad, my city. So, like, we didn't even lose power here. Um, it just, there were a lot of winds that kind of like knocked some trees around. So there's like branches in the roadways and, things are a little messy because of the wind. But other than that, we're okay. So that's good. Today in this little video, I wanted to talk about a book that I wrote, or the inspiration or motivation behind a book that I wrote a couple of years ago. This one, it's called You, Me, and Reality. And it's about a young woman in her 20s from Louisiana. Her name is Luann, but everybody calls her Lou for short. And she lives with her aunt because both of her parents died when she was a child. So she was raised by her aunt in Louisiana in a small city, you know. And she feels stuck because she and her aunt live in poverty, even though her aunt does have her own bakery and everything. Like she's an entrepreneur, but like a lot of people of color in the Deep South, there are just not that many opportunities to expand. So it's kind of like you feel stuck, like you're working really hard. And you have like her aunt has made something her own. She has, like I said, she runs this bakery, and Lou works in the bakery helping her, but she just feels very hemmed in by her life. Um, and the lack of opportunity there. And deep down, Lou has always wanted to be an actress. But because her aunt is very religious and part of a community that sort of fears the unknown, she discourages Lou from branching out in any direction, in anything that has to do with the arts. Um, and later in the story, you start to see that there's more of a reason than just the aunt is afraid of something she doesn't know. There's more to her reason for holding Lou back from wanting to from pursuing acting, um, and it has a lot to do with what happened to her parents, which is an unexpected little twist to the story. Uh, so eventually, Lou does get the opportunity to go to Los Angeles. It like just all of a sudden just pops up out of nowhere almost. And she and her best friend Samuel, they end up going to a meeting a producer who's visiting Louisiana, and the producer wants them on a reality show that she's helming back in LA. So they do, and that's where the story gets really interesting because Lou and her best friend Samuel, who she has a crush on, are plopped into this whole new world because Los Angeles is completely different from the Deep South. And so Lou has to navigate Hollywood, its dark side and its fun side. And she learns more about herself in the process and what she's capable of. But she also learns more about what really happened to her parents and why they died. So, I wrote You, Me, and Reality because when I was a kid, I always kind of had I don't know if affinity is the right word because I think that implies skill. I'll say I always had an interest in acting. Um, and I think that works hand in hand with being a storyteller or a writer because I was literally writing stories when I was like 5. I know that's crazy because most kids, a lot of kids don't really write very well at 5, but I don't know. I remember like writing stories and poems when I was 5. But a lot of times when I was writing, it was almost like I was acting because I would, write the story, but I would embody a character who is completely different from me. So as I was writing it, I would feel like I was becoming someone else for that little moment in time while I was writing this other person's story. And that is something that has not changed over the years. Um, you know, as I continue to get older and write more stories, I really use those writing opportunities or writing excursions, I guess you could say, as an opportunity to become someone else and take a break from my life, and jump into a fictional character's life. And so by the time I was like in junior high and I started, drama classes were offered as an elective, and I took one, and I realized, okay, you don't have to just write or read a book to escape your life, but you can literally become another person by acting. And I was just fascinated with it. I was not a good actor, not good, um, but I enjoyed it. And I wanted to actually, I wanted to, when I grew up, become an actor. It was something I took very seriously. And my mom, she kind of indulged it because she knew it was something I liked. But my parents, much like Lou's aunt, are very religious people, and um, they were never too keen on the idea of someone of acting or of Hollywood or that world or anything. So when I was graduating or poised to graduate from high school, and I was talking to my mom about my parents about what I wanted to do and how I wanted to, major in theater and become an actor and maybe dabble a little in fashion design. I had all sorts of like creative interests, but everything kind of centered around acting with little interests here in writing and fashion design and other things beside. But my parents were like, no, no, we do not support that. So, and I went along with what they said. So the story, Lou's story, comes from that place, a very real place. Things that I experienced and continue to experience as someone who still lives in Louisiana and still feels very stuck. So a lot of what Lou expresses about feeling hemmed in, that is quite personal. Um, and it was really nice to write because it took some of the weight, the heaviness of that feeling off of me, and I got to put it into a fictional character, and that sort of allowed me to take a step back from myself and look at myself in a way from a different perspective. Um, so yeah, that was kind of the idea of where Lou's storyline and her personality came from. And it's been a couple of years since I wrote this story, so now I'm able to look back when I read it. I look back on the story and I see things that I could have done better. Like Lou, it's weird, but the character that I wrote for Lou, I feel like she almost doesn't have much of a personality. She's all emotion, but her personality, it's kind of like, where is it? What is she? Um, which is a weird thing to say because usually when someone shows a lot of emotion, it's easy to pinpoint their personality based on the feelings they express. But for some reason, it's almost like Lou's feelings in this book. You sort of lose who she is in those feelings. I'm not sure how else to explain that, but it is a flaw in the writing. And I probably shouldn't be talking about that, if I want people to read the book, but I'm just being honest. And if you're a writer and you're watching this, maybe that'll be something helpful, um, like a pitfall to avoid. Um, because I had, and I think the reason is because I had such strong feelings about what Lou was experiencing because it was my experience to a degree, that I let that cloud my focus when it came to character development, um, and how that related to the plot. I mean, there is like basic character development. We do see Lou grow in her courage, and in her maturity, in that she was able to separate herself from her aunt and make her own life choices. You do see that happen throughout the book, but there is a little there could I could have done a lot better with showcasing her personality, like who she was at her core, I think. So yeah, that's I just kind of wanted to take a moment to talk about that book that I wrote. And I think this is the first book I wrote that is like more PG-13. Like it does have a love scene in it, which I honestly I don't know. I don't know that I did such a great job at writing that. Um, and it does have like a few curse words in it. Because most of my books before then were very more PG-ish. Um, but this one I kind of just was a little more. I tried to be more realistic. Um, so it was a little bit of a departure from my norm. But I think that's about it. I think this video was also a little boring. But I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm just talking about my book. If you want to check it out, You, Me, and Reality is available on Amazon. And I'm sure after that great description of the writing, you definitely want to read it. That was sarcastic. Also, I have a website where I do have a little blog where I talk about writing and some other related things. And all of my books are listed on the website, and that site is authorpaulaaljones.com. So, thanks for watching. I guess that's it for today. Like I said, this was kind of boring, but I'll see you next time.